Did you know that in 2025, the UK will roll out new laws that could completely change the way you live, work, and even think about your future? In fact, some of these laws are so bold and unexpected, they might just leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about daily life in Britain. Imagine this. Your rent could be frozen, but so could your personal data, forever protected in ways you never thought possible. Or maybe you'll finally get the right to disconnect from work at the end of the day, without that constant pressure to answer emails at midnight. And what if I told you that the car you're driving could be banned from the road altogether? Sounds far-fetched, right? Well, it's not. In just a few years, the UK government is introducing groundbreaking laws that could completely shake up everything from healthcare and housing to how businesses are taxed and how we travel. And these aren't small tweaks, they're massive shifts that will change the way industries operate, impact your rights as a citizen, and even reshape your personal life. Want to know what's coming next? Stay with me as we dive deep into the 10 most shocking and game-changing laws that will redefine the UK in 2025. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming. Let's get into it. Number 1. Digital privacy laws. In 2025, the UK is stepping up its digital privacy game, and this is going to be a huge change for anyone who spends time online. With more of our lives moving to the digital world, personal data is being collected, stored, and shared constantly, often without us even realizing it. That's about to change. New digital privacy laws are being introduced to give you more control over your personal data. These regulations are aimed at limiting how companies can use your information, ensuring that your privacy is respected. In simpler terms, the government is tightening the rules on how businesses can track you, store your data, and use it for marketing purposes. The laws will also require companies to be more transparent about their data practices, so you know exactly what information is being collected and how it's being used. One of the key elements of these laws is the right to access your personal data. You'll now be able to easily request information on what data companies hold about you, and you can ask them to delete it if you wish. This means that instead of feeling like your data is being sold or used without your consent, you'll have a stronger voice in how it's handled. This is a big win for your digital security and privacy. You'll want to stay informed about these changes because they'll help you protect yourself from potential online threats. The next time you log on, you'll have more control over your personal information, and that's something we can all celebrate. So, are you ready for these changes? How do you feel about controlling your data? Let us know below. Number 2. Climate change laws. 2025 is going to be a pivotal year in the UK's fight against climate change. The government is taking bold steps to push forward green energy initiatives that will not only reduce carbon emissions, but also reshape how we produce and consume energy. If you care about the planet, you'll want to pay attention to these changes. One of the biggest updates is the stricter environmental regulations targeting industries. The UK is rolling out laws that will require businesses to reduce their carbon footprints significantly. This could mean more renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydropower. In fact, the government is expected to heavily incentivize the installation of solar panels and wind turbines, which will help the UK meet its net zero targets. It's a win for the environment and your energy bills. But it's not just businesses that will be impacted. The UK is also focusing on making homes and everyday life more sustainable. There will be new rules for home builders, pushing them to construct energy-efficient buildings and retrofit older ones with better insulation, eco-friendly materials, and smart energy systems. You might even see more green energy options for your home, like solar energy subscriptions or discounts for electric vehicles. For those of you driving cars, expect to see changes as well. The UK is doubling down on electric vehicle incentives. More charging stations will be installed nationwide, and some petrol vehicles will be phased out as part of the government's push towards sustainable transportation. These changes might seem far-reaching, but they're the key to building a more sustainable future. How will these green energy shifts impact your lifestyle? Let us know in the comments. Number 3. Taxation overhaul. In 2025, the UK government is making significant changes to its tax laws, and this could have a big impact on how much you pay and who pays it. While some of these changes may seem like minor tweaks, they are part of a larger shift towards a more progressive tax system. Whether you're a small business owner or an employee, you'll want to understand what's coming. One of the key changes is a stronger emphasis on wealth-based taxation. The UK government is increasing taxes on the wealthiest individuals and large corporations, aiming to address the growing income inequality. This means higher taxes for those with larger incomes and more stringent rules for companies that try to avoid paying taxes in the UK. If you earn a high salary or have substantial investments, you may see a higher tax rate, especially if you fall into the higher tax brackets. But it's not all about increasing taxes for the wealthy. For middle-income earners, there are some changes that could actually benefit you. The government plans to raise the income tax threshold, meaning that the first portion of your income may be taxed at a lower rate, leaving you with more in your pocket. This will likely encourage consumer spending and potentially boost the economy. Additionally, digital taxes are on the rise. With the rapid growth of tech giants operating in the UK, the government is targeting big digital companies, ensuring they pay their fair share of taxes. If you're a freelancer or small business owner in the digital space, keep an eye on how these changes could affect your tax obligations. These tax reforms are designed to create a fairer system, but it's important to understand how they'll impact you. Share your thoughts below. Number 4. Employment laws. As remote work becomes more common, the UK government is stepping in with new laws to better protect workers and make sure they're not taken advantage of in this evolving landscape. These changes coming in 2025 will have a direct impact on how businesses operate and how employees are treated, whether they're working from home or in the office. One major change is the introduction of the right to disconnect rule. Under this new regulation, employees will have the right to disconnect from work after business hours without facing penalties or being expected to respond to emails and messages. If you're someone who has struggled with work-life balance while working from home, this is a big win. It's about setting boundaries and ensuring that work doesn't bleed into your personal time. In addition to this, businesses will be required to offer more robust support for remote workers' mental health and well-being. This includes mandatory mental health days and providing access to resources like counselling and stress management. As more companies offer flexible working options, this will help to ensure that employees are not left to struggle alone with the challenges that remote work can bring. Finally, job security for remote workers will be stronger. Employers will no longer have the freedom to terminate remote employees unfairly or without proper notice. The new laws will ensure that remote workers have the same rights and protections as those working on site. Number 5. Transport and road safety. The UK is set to undergo a significant transformation in how we travel, with new laws in 2025 aimed at making transportation greener and safer for everyone. Whether you're behind the wheel, on a bike, or using public transport, these changes will affect the way you move around cities and towns across the country. First, let's talk about the push for sustainable travel. The UK government is introducing laws that will drastically reduce car usage in urban areas. More cities are expected to implement car-free zones or restrict car access to encourage walking, cycling, and the use of electric vehicles. This is part of a larger effort to cut down on carbon emissions and reduce air pollution. If you live in a major city, you might soon see more pedestrian-only streets, expanded bike lanes, and improved public transportation networks designed to make sustainable travel more accessible. Alongside these changes, the government is also rolling out incentives for electric vehicles, EVs. Expect to see more charging stations popping up across the country, making it easier than ever to switch to an electric car. The UK is aiming to phase out petrol and diesel vehicles by 2030, and these 2025 laws will lay the foundation for that shift, pushing the transition to cleaner alternatives. For those of you who drive, this means it might be time to consider going green with your vehicle. Not only will it help the environment, but you'll also be part of the solution to cleaner, safer cities. Are you ready for a more sustainable way of getting around? Share your thoughts below. Number 6. AI and automation. As artificial intelligence continues to shape our world, 2025 brings significant changes to how AI is regulated in the UK. The government is introducing new laws that will establish a legal framework for AI technologies, ensuring that they are used ethically and responsibly. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or someone who's concerned about AI's rapid growth, these changes will directly impact how AI interacts with our lives. One of the most important aspects of these new laws is the focus on fairness and transparency. Companies that use AI will be required to ensure their systems are free from bias and discrimination. This includes everything from hiring algorithms to AI used in healthcare and finance. The government is making sure that AI is used in ways that benefit society without reinforcing harmful stereotypes or making biased decisions. For example, AI in hiring will need to ensure that it doesn't favour certain demographics over others. Another key aspect of the new regulations is the protection of jobs. While AI and automation are expected to replace some roles, the government is focused on ensuring that this transition is fair for workers. There will be a focus on retraining programs, so employees whose jobs are at risk can learn new skills and move into other areas of the workforce. Additionally, AI companies will need to be more transparent about how their systems work, providing consumers with a better understanding of how their data is used and what decisions AI is making on their behalf. These changes are designed to help the UK embrace AI while making sure it's used safely and fairly. What's your take on AI in our future? Let us know in the comments. Number 7. Housing and rent. In 2025, significant changes are coming to the housing and rental market in the UK, aiming to level the playing field between landlords and tenants. The government is introducing new laws to increase regulation for landlords and improve tenant protections, making this a pivotal year for renters and property owners alike. One of the key changes is the tightening of rules around rent hikes. Landlords will no longer be able to increase rent as freely as before. The new regulations will require them to provide a clear and justified reason for any rent increase, and tenants will have more opportunities to challenge unjustified hikes. This gives renters more security, knowing that their rent won't suddenly skyrocket without cause. Additionally, rent caps may be introduced in certain areas to prevent excessive price hikes in already expensive markets. For tenants, another major change is the strengthening of tenant rights when it comes to housing conditions. Landlords will be held more accountable for maintaining safe and habitable living spaces. This includes ensuring that properties meet basic safety standards, such as proper heating, electrical systems, and addressing issues like mold or dampness. If you're renting, you'll have a clearer path to get these issues fixed without fear of retaliation. There will also be stricter rules for landlords regarding deposits, with limits on how much can be charged up front. This ensures that tenants are not burdened with excessively high upfront costs. With these new laws, the government is working to create a fairer and more transparent rental market. How do you feel about these changes? Share your thoughts below. Number 8. Health and healthcare. In 2025, the UK's National Health Service, NHS, will see major reforms designed to improve access, speed up treatment times, and strengthen mental health services. These changes are a response to growing pressures on the healthcare system, and they will have a direct impact on the quality of care you receive. One of the most notable reforms is the increased focus on mental health. The government is committing more funding to mental health services, which means faster access to treatment for those who need it. Expect to see shorter wait times for counselling, therapy, and other mental health services. This is a welcome change, especially as mental health awareness continues to grow across the country. The goal is to ensure that mental health is treated with the same urgency as physical health, making it easier for individuals to get the help they need. In addition, the NHS is shifting toward a more digital-first approach. In 2025, you'll see more online consultations, digital prescriptions, and health management tools that can be accessed from the comfort of your home. This is particularly beneficial for those with mobility issues or people living in rural areas where healthcare access is limited. It also reduces pressure on physical health centres, improving overall efficiency. Another key reform is the drive for faster treatment times for non-urgent procedures. The NHS is focusing on reducing waiting times for operations, ensuring that those in need of treatment don't have to wait months for care. Number 9. Crime and law enforcement. As the digital world expands, so does the threat of cybercrime. In response, the UK is introducing stricter penalties for cybercriminals in 2025, aiming to protect individuals and businesses from the growing dangers of online fraud, hacking, and other digital offences. These changes will not only strengthen security, but also serve as a deterrent to those engaging in illegal online activities. Under the new laws, cybercrimes like data breaches, identity theft, and hacking will carry heavier penalties. For example, those found guilty of stealing or misusing personal data could face significantly longer prison sentences and larger fines. The government is making it clear that cybercrime is no longer a low-risk activity, and those who engage in it will face serious consequences. These penalties will also apply to anyone using the internet to facilitate other crimes, such as trafficking or financial fraud. Another key part of these reforms is that social media platforms and tech companies will be held more accountable for harmful content. The government is pushing for stricter regulations that will force companies to take immediate action against cyberbullying, hate speech, and disinformation. This could mean faster content removal and increased transparency around how these platforms manage harmful behaviour. For everyday citizens, these laws mean more protection online. You'll see more emphasis on secure websites, improved encryption standards, and better protections for personal data. There will also be more awareness campaigns on how to protect yourself from becoming a victim of cybercrime. With these new laws, the UK is taking a strong stand against online crime. How do you think these changes will affect internet safety? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Data sovereignty. As technology continues to evolve, so does the need to protect our data. In 2025, the UK is set to implement new laws that will strengthen data sovereignty, ensuring that data generated within the country stays within its borders. These changes are crucial for protecting personal information and maintaining control over how data is used. Data sovereignty means that any data collected from UK citizens will need to be stored and processed within the UK, rather than being sent to other countries. This is a direct response to concerns over how personal data is handled globally, especially when stored in countries with weaker privacy laws. By keeping data in the UK, the government aims to ensure that citizens' information is better protected and that it's subject to stricter local regulations. The new laws will also give individuals more power over their own data. You'll have greater control over where and how your data is used, and you'll be able to request its deletion or restrict its processing more easily. This change puts more responsibility on companies to be transparent about how they handle personal data, requiring them to be more accountable for any misuse. In addition, these laws will make it more difficult for foreign governments or companies to access UK citizens' data without proper legal procedures. This provides a layer of security against international surveillance or unauthorized data mining. These new regulations are an important step toward protecting your privacy in an increasingly digital world. How do you feel about keeping your data within national borders? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So there you have it, 10 groundbreaking laws set to change the UK in 2025. From protecting your data to transforming the way we work and travel, these new regulations are shaping a future that's both exciting and full of surprises. It's clear that the UK is on the brink of some major transformations. And whether you're thrilled or concerned, one thing's for sure: life will never be the same. It's important to stay ahead of these changes, understand how they'll affect you, and prepare for what's coming. This is just the beginning, and we'll continue to bring you the latest updates as these laws unfold. If you found this video eye-opening and want more updates on the world's most impactful changes, hit that subscribe button now. It's just one click, and it helps us create more in-depth content like this. Got thoughts on these new laws? We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your opinion or any questions you have. We put a lot of effort into bringing you the best insights, and we want to know what you think.